All right, this is the TSOU podcast. Your boy Dre right here in the Carolinas, South Carolina to be exact. On the campus of Upstate Circle of Friends. And check this out. I got my man Beacon on the line with me on the podcast today. What's up, Beacon? How you doing?
What's going on with you, my brother?
Oh, nothing much. Beacon is the creator and host of the Free World podcast and the Gatekeeper TV, man. I got to ask you first, how's everything going on the entertainment side of everything for you?
Everything's going really good. Yeah, as far as the entertainment goes, we just, we did numbers with over 1 million streams for the album that we dropped last Labor Day, and radio budget hitting. So we just, taking it easy right now, and actually in the studio about to do another project.
Okay, tell me about the album though.
The album that's my passion, all things, and I guess only because, for me growing up, hip hop was the closest thing I saw to the preachers, the old school preachers, was the rappers, because the same way that a preacher could hold the attention and the imagination of a church. When I saw rap, the first time I heard a pop verse, first time I heard, some of the greats, that carried that kind of weight. You know what I'm saying? And you recognize in hood, like, that's the closest thing to like a pastor is like on the streets as a rapper. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like if your favorite rapper say it, and you did. So that started my love. I messed around in some years ago, messed around with the prison, and it was on some. I had like 16 driving charges, driving without license and all this stuff, just wilding. And I didn't even know not to sign guilty pleas. I signed a bunch of guilty pleas, and they sentenced me to 6 months in prison. So I go down the road. I had never rapped before, had never sung before, I never did nothing. And I saw this guy by the name of Monroe Todd, and he was doing these jailhouse like concerts, like making the beat, on the window of the multipurpose room or whatever, and just have a whole cipher. And before I went to bed at night, I said, God, if I can't do it like that, I don't want to do it. Because he had everybody spellbound. And so I started rapping in prison. I became like the guy on the yard that everybody would try to battle. So at Trenton, the thing about Trenton Correctional Facility in Edgefield is that it's a yard, but it's a lot of wild A's. And for those of y'all that don't know what wild A's are, that's them jokers that got caught up in that crime bill action, and they, up into their 30s and 40s, are always going back and forth to prison because they give you enough rope to hang yourself. So they like the most rambunctious of all prisoners is the wild A's. Nobody want to be on the yard where wild A's are at. And so, but I went there, and because it was a lot of youth there, like we were really rapping. It was like all the dopest rappers was coming through there. And so they would always bring them to my gate if they didn't belong in my house. And I was undefeated when it came to ciphers, like a battle, like a real freestyle battle. I never lost. Right. So that's how I got the name The Gatekeeper, because I literally kept the gate. Like if you came to Trenton and you said you was a rapper, you had to see me. It's just period.
How long?
And it was the same thing with Kirkland. When I was at Kirkland, if you was a rapper, you had to see me, because Kirkland is like your R&E. So it's like when they getting you ready to go to prison. Because I had never been to prison in my life. Like I was not a criminal per se. And bro, it is just like, that is the greatest assemblage of talent in the world. So when I came home, I didn't like where music was going then, because it was trap everything, trap this, trap that. I was like, nah, I got to be different, because I got a grown-up sound. We always refer to my music as like gumbo, because it's a lot of harmonious vocals. You hear a lot of church in my music. It's a lot of church in my music. Word. You hear the gospel all in it.
Yep.
The tones, the chords, the ad-libs is very spiritual. And so the thing that I said then, almost 20 years ago now, I said, I'm never going to perform to a track again. I'm only doing my live band. So I created a band called the Freebirds. And my nephew was my first musician playing the bass. The bass was bigger than him, but he would play it. We would go to different shows and different travel up and down the road. And he was one of my first musicians, actually. And yeah, and so it's a real gritty. It's talking about life. It's kind of like the introduction to who I am. Because if you know me from the business world, then that's all you're going to associate with me, because I compartmentalize my life.
Right.
So I'm not rapper, activist, philanthropist, businessman all at the same time. At least I didn't used to be.
Right.
So people that I've been in business with, when they find out I did music and when I dropped the album on Labor Day, they're like, "What? Nigga, that's you rap?" Yeah.
I
I toured around the country. Like, but they didn't know. It's kind of, I was so OCD about that. You feel me?
Yeah.
I always compartmentalized everything. So, but yeah, that's kind of what the album is, bro.
Well, that's what's up, because I going on your site. That's when I discovered you actually do music. So that was a surprise to me, because I know you from the community and business side. So yeah. So tell me about the Free World Podcast. What goes on over there? I
can barely hear you. It was sounding real muffled.
Okay, I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, what goes on the Free World Podcast? What do you talk about?
Oh, Free World is in the name. I think when I first started the podcasting, I wanted to be the Black Alex Jones, because ever since I was a kid, whenever anybody would mention Alex Jones and you see him in the news, and if y'all don't know who Alex Jones is, he's got something called Prison Planet. So he talks about things that nobody, he is the beginning of alternative media. And I remember in 2008, he was talking about how there was an island where there were sex slaves, and they were kidnapping children and taking them out there, because every year, exactly 1,500 children go missing every year. It never goes up and it never goes down. And I was like, oh, I ain't never heard this. And the first documentary I watched was one called Loose Change, about George W. Bush and that all that craziness. And I could not, and I'm a Republican. So I was like a guy, like I was like a Bush. I was like, yeah, I like the fact that Bush seemed like he didn't take no jump, but I didn't know he was a globalist. And the funny thing about life, sometimes the Bible says the truth shall set you free. But we don't always want to be free, bro. Sometimes we like the delusion we live in. Sometimes the cognitive dissonance is so thick and so profound and so deliberate that we don't even want to be woken up. And if you really ever want to be free, you got to embrace the truth. So that's the whole point to the Freedom World Podcast. It's just regardless of what it is. You know, I realize a lot of in the community, I'm like a disruptor politically, because I worked on presidential campaigns, I worked on congressional campaigns, state, local. I've done a lot of different things in my life, and don't even seem like I could have done it in this short period of time. And coming from where I come from, I just couldn't have saw it. But that's the power of having a mama that know how to pray and tell you you're going to make it. But that freed me. Being able to accept the truth about the things that I didn't want to accept the truth about freed me. You know, and all of us have our moments of delusion. All of us have our moments of self-aggrandizement, of moments where we're not seeing things for what they are. But one thing I always try to hold fast to is to thine own self be true. That is, I can't ever get away from that. So when I created the Freedom World Podcast, I got so tired of the vanilla, generic, talking head stuff. Even as podcasts began to proliferate, it was really just the same old BS arguments. It was always the same. What are we talking about? Why do black men that are successful date white women? And let's dig into it. Let's find out why that happened. Well, why black men ain't good daddies, and why do they, who has it? Well, let's dig into it to find out. Because maybe I'm living my delusional universe, and I need somebody, and think about it though, Drake. We all have an emancipation component to us, to where we tap into it, we can free somebody, right? We all got purpose wrapped up and encapsulated this physical vessel. And one thing my mama did for me was she didn't let me hide behind what I wanted to feel. And as I grew older and the people that I experienced, man, I found myself being a person. I was never nobody yes man. And then I understood why people never really liked the yes men. Because I've been around celebrities, I've been around people that are all over the White House. I got plenty of friends to be at the White House, regardless of who's in office. And they have me around and they deal with me, whether they're activists or lawyers or politicians, business, whatever. For one thing, I'm not going to tell them what they want to hear. Now, if what you're doing is dope and it's hot, I'm going to be the one to give you your trophy first. Nobody ever beat me giving praise to anybody that's doing something worthwhile. But sometimes we got to be told, nah, bro, that ain't the way, bro. That was time in my life I was going totally contrary to everything that I said I believed in.
Right.
And the people, as I look back in my life that I respected, was the ones that told me, nah, bro, your breath stink, Beacon. Your breath really stink. You got toilet paper on your shoe, Beacon. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Let me circle back to Alex Jones. You say you listen to Alex Jones, right?
Yes.
Now, he is considered a conspiracy theorist. Do you categorize yourself the same way?
No, I'll tell you why. Because everything that they said he was a conspiracy theorist about turned out to be true.
Well, now he lost the lawsuit for the Sandy Hook and costed $1.4 billion.
Yeah, they tried to bankrupt. But I want you to hear this though, bro. Check this out. They sued him and they found him liable. But guess what? That's like something. Bill, I know for a fact that I've seen ads for crisis actors. It's not even debatable. There are people, and this is what he said. There was this one girl, I think she was a young white Jewish Ashkenazi chick. She was at Sandy Hook, and she was at the Boston Marathon bombing, and the same girl. Like, I've seen it with my own eyes. This is, this ain't AI. This is before AI. Like, it's her. And I had a run-in, because being a political agent, and I can't believe I'm admitting that's what I am.
Political agent.
Yeah, I'm a political agent.
Okay.
For good. I'm like Robin Hood to the political scene, because politics is so fugazi. It's so fugazi, bro. It's so crazy, because it's all about manipulation. It's all about causing you to be unsure of your own self and what you truly believe. So, everything that the main thing about Alex was everything that happened before the Sandy Hook thing. That's the meat of Alex. And have you ever seen when he infiltrated the Bohemian Grove?
See, I don't trust anything from Alex Jones because some of the things he say are really out there and unproven. So I don't really subscribe to Alex Jones media.
Well, I'll tell you like this. He told us in 08, he said, there is an island. And I'm going to tell you, now, it's a full circle moment I'm finna give you. Check this out.
Okay.
He said, there's an island. And this guy, he said this is in 08. Now, you know the thing with Jeffrey Epstein just popped out by 5 years ago?
That's the first thing I thought about, Jeffrey Epstein.
So he said, there's a guy in the U.S. Virgin Islands that has an island. And all of the presidents, all of the major dignitaries, celebrities are there, and they're having sex with children, and they're drinking their blood. And when I tell you Alex Jones was a meme, oh, he's crazy. Oh, he's nuts. Can you believe what he's saying?
Now, I have to add the allegedly, or because it's unproven.
Allegedly.
So,
right. So, but this is the funny part, full circle moment. We are doing a municipal bond project in St. Croix. It's full circle moment. Remember I told you? Guess what is in St. Croix? At the port project that we're doing, you can see Epstein Island from there. And anybody that's in the U.S. Virgin Islands And listen, you go to my social media, I'm on there with the governor of the Virgin Islands.
Mm-hmm.
So it ain't hyperbole and conjecture,
Gotcha.
but you can see Epstein Island from St. Croix, the port. His boats are still there. Everything's still there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can literally and when you talk to the locals, it ain't no, is it possible? It's like an open secret. Like nobody, they know that's what it is. And see, the thing about it, and I didn't know this, but see, what I found out about a lot of things, sometimes we really don't want to face how corrupt everything is, right? Guess what I found out, brother? That the reason St. Croix is so, you would never think this little island of black folk, this kind of tourist destination would be this elite, but it's where the globalists, it's where those people set up at. And I don't want to sound like, a conspiracy theorist, but it's going to sound like that. I'm going to get it to you. It's going to sound like, but it's not. Check this out. The Virgin Islands, St. Croix is literally the hub of fiber optics in the Caribbean, anywhere in the Caribbean. All of the major fiber optics lines and installations run through St. Croix. So what am I saying? It is a major holdover for a lot of extremely rich, extremely powerful globalists. It just is.
Mm-hmm.
Look up, for anybody that's listening, look up fiber optics Virgin Islands, and you're going to see that they run everything through the Virgin Islands. And when I say everything, I mean everything. The governor of the Virgin Islands, Albert Bryan, knows me. Google it. Google me with Albert Bryan. Like, I'm telling you, and maybe I shouldn't be saying all that. This is a podcast. Oh, but allegedly. It's allegedly. Okay. So, it's deep.
I got you.
Because, it's deep, bro. It's deep.
Absolutely. So I'm definitely going to do my homework on that one. So let me ask you this. You be in music, you experienced prison or jail. And you say, right. Okay. Where do you think the black culture is in America? What is the, what I'm trying to say? What is the temperature that you feel where we at right now? Is it successful, progressive, or we stalled out? What are your thoughts?
I don't think I'm going to shock you with what I'm going to say, bro, but I'm going to keep it a beat. I think we are on the precipice of the greatest revolution of black finance and industry that the world has ever seen. I think we don't even understand how great our positioning is. And of no doing of our own, but it's just how gracious God is for the people that built this whole planet. That he always had a way for us to wind up back in a prized position. I think everything is lining up, and if you pay attention to what's going on, for instance, a lot of people don't realize this, right? What happened in 2019, Dre? What was the biggest thing that started in 2019?
2019?
Yeah.
I'll let you tell it.
It changed the world.
It changed the world?
It changed the world.
AI?
Pandemic.
Pandemic? Oh, well, yeah.
The pandemic. Check this out. Do you know what 2019 is also the 400-year anniversary of?
Being freed.
Nope. 400 years since the first slave was brought to America.
Okay.
In Deuteronomy 28, it talks about a 400-year period. It talks about how our kids will be ripped out of our arms, will be taken to a foreign land and shackled. It says all of this. But it says it lasts for 400 years, and then he's going to bring us back to himself. Literally in 2019, another thing happened that had never happened before. The UN said, y'all owe them black people some money for 400 years of slavery. America, you got to pay them. That had never happened in the history of the world. And then all of a sudden, hold on, wait a minute. The whole world shuts down. The year that the curse is over, the year that we are free from bondage, to where in the stars, no matter what metric you look at, it is over for our servitude in this country. The year that happens and the UN for the first time says you owe them black people, pay them, and the whole world shuts down. Do you think that's a coincidence, Drew?
Oh, no.
It's not coincidence.
I would say so. Then you are for reparations, correct?
Absolutely. And I'm a conservative.
Yeah, that's
but
why
we
I
done
asked
gave everybody. Yeah, I'm definitely. Yes, sir.
Now, your party wouldn't accept that, right?
That's not true. There's a whole bunch of black conservatives that are liberation theologists. That's what we are. We believe in liberation. And we believe that based on the Republican form of government that we have, that the government's supposed to keep their word. So when they told our people in 1865, y'all, I don't know if I can say niggas on here, but excuse me, but when they told us in 1865, y'all can go and we're going to give y'all something for y'all labor, this is not reparations, this is a debt. Yeah, people put reparations on it and they you might well put the air quotes up. But no, this is a debt. And UCC, for those who don't know what UCC is, Uniform Commercial Code, runs everything on the globe. UCC done said you got to pay them people.
But now,
you know, some of y'all know what UCC is. It is the most prevailing doctrine that governs everything we do right now. It's at every library, every post office. Look up UCC. Go to your local library and say UCC. Can I get your UCC books? And it's all the codes and statutes. It's maritime admiralty law. And it governs everything. That's why you get a certificate of manifest when you have a baby. They go take that baby out that room, put them foots on there, sign it. If you look on the back of the big birth certificate, you'll see all the major banks in the world. You'll see every last one of them. And people never understood why all the banks are on my birth certificate. What's that about? Because you have a CUSIP number the day you're born. That's what your social is.
Right.
You're just another piece of stock to the UCC form. But the thing about it is they got to zero those books out. So when United Nations and UCC say you got to pay them descendants.
Yeah, but you know, in America, you know that's not going to happen unless you have the right legislators in place to actually vote that in, right?
Not true, bro. You know why? You know the only thing we got to have, Dre?
What we got to have?
We got to stop calling ourselves black. Black literally means dead when it comes to codification of law. That's why they have us designated as black. But what they won't tell you is that upon the founding of America, the first treaty and partnership was with the King of Morocco in Africa. The King of Morocco assisted America in getting its freedom from the British. And nobody will ever tell you that. So when you claim you're Moorish, you're indigenous, I know y'all, that's the biggest thing everybody been hearing, and we want to talk about our skin tone, how our melanin is popping and all that. Hey, listen, I don't care nothing about that because some of us got vitiligo and we brighter than the sun. But we come from them people that built this country.
Right. We could talk historical facts, right, about that. However, it is a fact that, those who don't align with us are never going to want to accept that you're going to pay. And if you take away black, and you say Americans with darker skin, melanin, they're not going to go for reparations unless you have the right party in place who's actually going to pass those legislations, right?
Oh, you think that'd be the Democratic Party per se?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You think the Democratic Party, you do know President Biden and Kamala said they're not for reparations. You do know that, right?
No, I don't
Google
know that.
While we're right now on the phone, Google Biden's reaction to reparations. Well, and then I'm going to tell you how crazy.
Well, here's my thing about it. Even if they said they're not for reparations, you got to understand which party would be more in favor, would vote in numerous numbers that would actually pass that legislation.
Well, if I told you a party gave all black HBCUs all the money they needed for 10 years so they don't have to come back every year, would you have said that 10 years ago that would be a Republican or a Democrat?
Well, I know about what you're saying, but also...
No, I'm asking a question for a reason. I'm stretching it that way.
Yeah.
Because I want to challenge the way you think about things on that, right?
Yeah.
You go back and you say the Republican Party, right?
Yeah.
Guess who wrote every civil rights legislation that ever has come and been made law in America?
Yeah, but here's
The
the thing.
Republican Party.
I know every Republican says that, but the ideology is different. It is not the same Republican Party as of today. So you do know that, right?
I know this much, that when you get to the very top, both parties are controlled by the same people. That's a fact of life. That's just a fact.
Well, I might agree with you on. Well, you know, the
At the
powerful,
very top,
the
both
rich,
parties.
the rich.
If you don't believe nothing else that I ever say, while you know me, at the very top, RNC, DNC are controlled. And so I think what we need to do, we've got to have perspective. And I don't think a lot of people, because I am a Tea Party guy. I've been in both.
Oh,
You know, my affiliation with Dr. Ennis Fant, Democrat, black man, one of the most brilliant people ever. But I'm a Tea Party. So I'm also right there with K. Carl Smith. I'm right there with Ken Owen. So, you know, it's a whole thing, right?
Yeah.
But I want you to check this out, bro.
Yeah.
It ain't just about the legislation.
True.
When we talk codification of law, when we talk about our blackness, we think the white folk are scared of our blackness. They're not. They're not scared of the blackness. Because we talk so much about, well, you know, they don't want to see a black man. No. It ain't about nobody not want to see a black man do this or want to see a black man do it. It ain't even about that. It's about us, because when we do get in position, the one thing white folk and Indian folk and Asian folk and Latino folks know about black folk, that wherever we go, there's going to be chaos. Like even right here in Greenville, we've got literally, and this is not hyperbole, this is not conjecture.
Mm-hmm.
We're literally in Dr. Ennis Fant, who's a great friend of mine, somebody that I support his campaign with everything in me. If you add up every black elected official in the history of the upstate of South Carolina, and someone been in office for 40 years, and you add everything that they ever did and contributed and multiplied it by 10 or 20, he would still have done more than all of them put together, multiplied by 30, 40, or 50. That is how monumental what he's done. And yet you still have a segment of our community. Derek Horse just showed up at an event the other day. The guy that's running against Ennis, that's bought and paid for by some racist Republicans right here in Greenville. I mean, these are some of the most racist Republicans. And that's what I don't think a lot of black folk understand. There is a civil war going on between different segments of the white population that y'all don't even understand.
Right.
Because honestly, the white folk that are the most racist, they hate Trump. That's what you're not ready for. I'm talking about the real diehard racists. They hate Trump.
Yeah.
Because Trump has done something, and I know people gonna say what they say, but I love facts over feelings. So I ain't never swung about my feelings. I want to know the facts. Not since Fred Hampton have you seen somebody that can bring poor whites, poor blacks, Latinos, different segments of the population together under one guy. You have not seen that since Fred Hampton. Fact. And that's why they killed him. So I don't think it's crazy that this guy funds black colleges for 10 years and say, I don't want y'all to have to come back every year. Everything y'all need. And time Biden gets in office, he does away with it. Because I'm going to tell you something about the Democratic Party I don't think a lot of black folk understand. If you look at the very inception of the Democratic Party, they are here for one thing. They manage poverty. That is their specialty. They manage poverty to garner votes. That is why they're allowing all the border to be wide open, because they know that the congressional districts are drawn based on population, not by citizens.
Let me say this. So you do know that the Democratic Party, Joe Biden, the administration, and Republicans agreed to pass a bill to close the border. However, Trump said, no, let's not close the border because I'm going to use it as a campaign stump and use that to get elected. How do you square that?
That's hyperbole. That's hyperbole.
I mean, he actually said it. He's recorded saying it. So, but that let's go back to managing poverty, right? I like how you said that. I think that is true because you have to manage poverty. However, from what I read and what I see and what I experience, the Republican Party is all about the wealthy, you know, tax breaks for the wealthy, right? And then if you have a business, and it does benefit you, if you have a business, you get your tax breaks. But what about the programs for those who in low income? And we talked about chaos, right? You said chaos, wherever, the black people, there's chaos. Well, there's also low income areas. And the program's gone away. The programs get voted against. How you feel about that? Because it's the Republicans that control the state, right? And it's the Democrats that's trying to implement programs. What is your stance on that?
My stance on that is completely and totally false. Let me bring it to you like this, right? When I say manage poverty, one thing the Democratic Party knows is that independently wealthy folks cannot be controlled. You cannot control them. They're going to vote values over feelings. When you set financially and you're not worried about how high your rent going to be, and if they're going to give you a cost of living, increase on your SSI, and you can go out and make as much you want. That is why you have never in the history of the NAACP, never in the history of the Urban League, never in the history of any black organization seen in the last year. Hold on. Never in the history of America have we had the opportunity that we got right now. It just has never happened. Like, when we say that the poverty is being managed, we're not talking about, we're making sure that the people have what they need. That is not what managing poverty is. Managing poverty is this: I'm going to give you enough to sustain you, but I'm not going to give you enough to get free. So I'm going to give you enough just so you get just enough strength to get back to me to beg for just a little bit more to go another day. That is literally their strategy. That is why when you go back to the 20s, 30s, and 40s, the Democratic Party would be at all points of entry into all major cities in America. Because this is their game. When you come, whether you're a black farmer from Mississippi that's coming and trying to get in on a factory job in Chicago, you know what they do? When you get there and they see that black woman, they say, "Hey, black woman, come here right quick." And because they go to the bus stops, they go to the airports, to the train stations. And when you are moving and they know that you need help, you know what they do? Well, we can put you in an apartment, okay, and we can give you a check every month to make sure that you're able to, supply for your little kids, and we're gonna give you a food allowance. Only one thing, though, black woman, you can't have that black man with you, and that is all a product of the Democratic Party. When you look now and you see that right. When I came into this world, around the time I came into this world, black fathers were in 75% of the homes when I was born. It is the opposite now. 75% of the homes our kids are born into are single parent homes. So now you're already creating a conclave when it comes to finances, right? Because now you got one income to cover crazy rent, crazy utilities, crazy grocery bills. So now then what happens? And literally, this is no joke. And I love Kennedy at the end, before he got killed, when he realized what was happening. But J. Edgar Hoover, who was the head of FBI, they did a report. They wanted to know, how is it possible that this civil rights movement will not go away? What is the problem? And they did a study, and you know what they found out? It's the black nuclear family unit that is keeping them afloat. So from that moment on, it was war on the black family. Because they said, if we ever want to get rid of this, because think about this, bro. Literally in half of the country, more than half, if you were black, you could not sleep in the same hotel as white people. You could not eat in the same restaurant. And this is just a couple of decades before we were born, bro. Not even a decade in some places. And literally, you could not stop Malcolm. You couldn't stop Martin. You couldn't stop Stokely. You couldn't stop You couldn't stop any of them. Because even though you won't let us live at your hotels, you won't let us eat at your restaurants, we got green books to show us where we can go and where we can't go in the Democratic Party dominated South.
And
let's
right,
make sure we keep that in record.
right. Let's go back though. Like I said before, in this document, anyone can look up the Great Switch, and that tells you how
Yeah.
the Republican and the Democratic parties flip ideologies. So, if that wasn't true, then why are
That's
the
not true at
Republic?
all.
If that wasn't true, then you would have the Democratic Party advocating to keep the Civil War monuments. That is not happening. If that was true, you would see Democrats say, "Hey, don't tear down that monument from the Civil War." It's the Republican Party that want to keep up the monuments. Am I correct?
Okay.
Right. So what you're saying now is you're not mentioning that great switch. That great switch did happen, and it's in the history books.
You know what? One thing, when you go to the bowels of both of the parties, you know what? Don't lie. The funds. When you track the money, you find out where the power is. Right? That's in anything. Right? Am I right about that?
Yeah, that's you right.
So there was never a great switch because when you look in the coffers of both parties, wherever their money started at 200, 300 years ago, it's still there. That pipeline of money is still going to those places. So don't get it twisted.
Right. I got a great example for you. I
just want to say one thing real quick.
Go ahead.
Check this out. 10 years ago, Obama was talking about how we got to close the borders. 10 years ago, Obama was saying that, we can't let people in here. 10 years ago, 12 years ago, Obama was saying that marriage between a man and a woman. What happened? Was there a great switch that all of a sudden all the Democrats go to the Republican Party and vice versa? Nope. You got to realize all of these, and I know this from campaigns. I've come to congressional campaigns for U.S. Congress when they've already had the typical pollster campaign manager, and I've come in and wreck shop with them. Because what they do is the polling, that's why everything you hear around politics is polling. What is a poll? A poll is an opinion. Most people say they don't think that Donald Trump's hair looks nice. That's all that polling is BS. Because you can make a poll say anything.
Brother,
bro.
I can't agree with you on that one.
But they will not tell you all of the hoops and the loops that they put in it to come to that conclusion. So what I'm telling you, bro, is that the money never changed. So if the money never changed, there ain't never been no switch. Well, because ain't nobody switched no bank accounts. Yeah, I can promise you that.
Well, you can definitely look that up. Anybody can go look that up, and that's in the history book. But let's move on. I want to stay on that one. But anybody can look that up. But I see what you're saying. But it is historical fact that there was an ideology switch when it came to the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. But
you just say ideology switch. You saw a change in tactics is what you saw.
Well, okay.
It's a change in tactics. It's not ideology. The Republican Party now all of a sudden say, I want to suppress everybody. No, you don't want to know what the real true Frederick Douglass Republican Party is about? Independence.
Well, let me say this.
You know what now this time we're talking about a man that was a slave, Frederick Douglass.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you how bad of a slave Frederick Douglass was. He beat his slave master up, and he had a notoriously horrendous slave master who killed many black men. The slave master tried this man, Frederick Douglass, while he was still a slave. He beat his slave master so bad, the slave master never touched him again. So then he ran away. He had a wife, a black woman he married that got him a sailor suit, and he swam away and ran away from, the slave quarters, right? Even him, while he was still a fugitive, said, I do not want a handout, but just get out of my way. That's what the Republican mindset is.
That was then. That was before the switch. Yeah, you talking about Frederick Douglass? That he was a Republican, right? Like Martin Luther King was a Republican, but that was before the ideology switch. That was.
Do you believe, Dre? Do you believe that narratives get put in place to play trickology on our mind sometimes? Do you think that's possible?
I know this. I know that when Biden administration started the student forgiveness, the loan forgiveness program, guess who sued to make it stop? Republicans. Now, you tell me, is that taking care of the people or is that hindering the people?
Well, I know some black people that are not even Republicans. They feel like if I had to pay my student loans, why they don't got to pay theirs?
See, but that's the thinking right behind Republicans, right? That's
No, I'm talking about these Democrats to say this. I got black female Democrat friends that say,
yeah, because nobody's a monolith, right? Nobody's one thing, right? We all have. I got some thoughts, when it comes to income tax. I got thoughts, being a small business person myself. So no one's one thing, right? So we are gonna kind of have a little stretch in each
yeah,
thing. So
diversity,
right?
right?
But that I ain't gonna argue with you on that one because I do see your point. But I do want everybody to realize that there is a ideology switch. I know you want to argue against that, but that can be looked up. But let me ask you this: on the state of our community, you said that this is the best time to be alive, right? Everybody can get money.
That we are of one of the greatest economical industry transfers in the history of the galaxy. We can't even. I don't think no other planet won't even come close to this. I mean, it is. We're right there. And what our people are doing, we're not paying attention. We're too caught up on what Blueface and Krishan got going on, and how Rolly done got a whole stomach cut off from the baddies and all this stuff. Meanwhile, you got the BRICS nations that have currency that is live right now. All the BRICS nations, South Africa, Brazil. We're talking about black countries with majority black populations that have a whole nother thing going on now.
Yeah.
And what we're not doing, we're not preparing to navigate a global marketplace. And this is one thing I know for sure. The transfer is going to happen. Everybody got to decide if they're going to be a part of it or they're going to be collateral damage.
So
that's just what it is.
So you're saying that you believe that the American dollar will collapse and then the BRICS system will rule? Okay.
That is not what I'm saying.
Okay, what you saying?
I'm telling you that once UCC and the UN said you owe them black people for 400 years, it's got to happen. Because I don't think I got to nail that home.
Yeah.
The UCC is a final authority on the globe. Because guess who UCC is? UCC is the IMF, International Monetary Fund. It's Center on Foreign Relations. It's the UN. It's all of that.
Right.
When they say you owe them, you got to pay them. And the government can fight it. They can say whatever they want to say. But we know eventually, just like once this train got rolling, I don't know if a lot of people know, but last year, the California government agreed. And I'm going to show you now. I'm going to show you how the Democrats get down. And you ain't going to believe this, but you can Google it. Right. Follow this. In California in 2023, the legislation agreed to give black folk, and this is not funny, California was not even a slaveholding state, and they agreed to give reparations to black folks, right?
Yeah, I'm actually,
liberal California, right?
Right, I'm aware of that.
Ultra liberal, right?
Yeah.
Guess what happened? The NAACP said, hold on, no, we don't need to be giving our checks to nobody. The Democratic NAACP in California said, hold up, we need to do a study on this. Listen, California legislation had agreed. We're going to give them legislation, even though we didn't have no slaves, but there has been a lot of racially biased institutional effects on the black population here when it comes to when General Motors was in the inner city and they pumped industry out from Compton and Long Beach, and then the gangs took over. That's what nobody tell you. In the 60s and 70s, they took industry out, and what happened? The greatest revolution of gang warfare in the history of the planet. So when we say calamity follows us and chaos follows us, it's because we are not good stewards all the time of what we have. And right now, it's like, choose what side you're going to be on. Are you going to be the one under the blessed banner because I'm going to see the writing on the wall? Like every day you can go on social media and you see black folk that are buying land and building co-ops and communes and every day because we're hearing it. And we started hearing it around the same time. I was telling anybody that I worked with 12 years ago, there's about to be a mass exodus of black men from the Democratic Party. Oh, nah, black folk have always been Democrats. One thing that our daddies didn't have and our mamas didn't have was YouTube. Well, you can go in there and see Bull Connell and George Wallace and all these most racist people with the Democratic Party, it makes you begin to search. Even if you don't fully go one way or the other, you're going to now say, let me see what's up. So the major influx of, because, and that's, I make sure that when I talk about the finance, I talk about industry.
Yeah.
Because a lot of what's happening, if you pay attention to what's happening in Africa, they are tying their wagon to technology. Bio warfare. That they are, because you know what happened? One of the richest men in Africa that owned the cement empire, he's a billionaire. He took $100 million of his money and said, here, I'm planting this here to create entrepreneurs all on the continent of Africa. And for those that know, Africa is many nations on one continent.
Yeah.
And that fund was created for multiple nations. And right after he did that, you started seeing the first African-made cars. We're talking about like Cadillac, and now you got like the Wakanda Mobile or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just saying, trying to be funny.
I hear you. Yeah.
But immediately after he planted that money, you had all sorts of black engineers. And even ones that had studied in America, got their degrees, they went back home and said, now that we got liquid, money's not a factor. Let's create everything our little hearts can desire. And that is exactly what they're doing. All emerging money markets are on the continent of Africa. It is the avant-garde of commerce moving forward.
Yeah.
And nobody can.
Yeah, absolutely. I do agree with you on that, because that's where all the material is, right? All the money in the ground. Yeah.
It's in the ground, but you even think Haiti has more petroleum. This would nobody tell you. And like I say, remember I said the Democrats manage poverty? Well, guess what? Remember the earthquake happened in Haiti?
Yeah.
Guess what happened? Wycliffe, hanging around with Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, he helped make them literally the payees over all of the funds that came in to rebuild Haiti.
Yeah, I do know about that.
And you do know about that, right?
I do know about that, yeah.
Okay, but what they also won't tell you is they also took ownership of all the iridium mine. Now, let me tell you what iridium is. If you ever watch the Black Panther, they talk about vibranium.
Vibranium, yeah.
What they're really talking about is iridium, because you cannot power a cell phone without iridium. You can't do no technology without iridium. There are two major mines of iridium in the world: South Africa and Haiti, as far as we know right now. There's no coincidence, bro.
Right.
There's no coincidence. So when I say we on the precipice of the greatest industrial technological boom in the history of the existence, oh, that's real. Because for everything that we've been through, this is one thing I learned in business. Because I didn't graduate high school, I didn't graduate college, and I've done things that and I got people that work for me that have master's degrees. And people be like, it's a belief, right? So one thing I realized, right, is that opportunity don't wait for nobody, bro.
Absolutely.
Like fortune favors the bold. And the thing I love about the tenets of true republicanism is that it ain't no pity party. We ain't gonna sit over here and have no pity party. Because when I look back at my granddaddy, who was one of the first black men in Greenville, he just died 2 years ago at 100 years old. Paul McIntyre, one of the first black men to buy a house in Greenville County. I got an Uncle Wallace, who was the first black man to get an SBA loan. And he died some years back. You understand what I'm saying? Like, they didn't take no for an answer. And too many times I see our culture now to where we can be ready for a revolution. Like when Obama came and said, I'm telling you, bro, the energy of revolution was so high at that moment, and they put a black man in there to pacify.
Wait a minute now. So you believe that Obama destroyed what was being built up? Or is that,
Hell yeah.
So let me ask you this then, because we're gonna wrap it up. Because I wrap it up. What do you think about? And I talked to a friend about this. So you do want say there are a lot of black men that want to vote for Trump, right? I don't look at Trump. I look at all the minions that come in behind him. Those who gonna legislate in the states. Those who are pulling history off the shelves of schools. Those who are changing laws that doesn't benefit the black community at all. Well, so what do you think about all the white supremacists and all um, the evangelicals who really want to take us back in the time where Jim Crow laws? What do you think about all that? Now, if he gets
Well,
in, don't you believe?
I
And
want
then also
to
let's add in women's rights. That is being chipped away at the moment by Republicans.
why, because of abortion?
Yeah, and it starts there. Then you got contraceptives, things like that, and it doesn't stop
No,
there.
they would never, you know why they never kill contraception? You know, the issue with abortion ain't even the fact. Yeah, I don't think you should be able to kill a baby that's breathing, got a heartbeat. That's just humanity, right? But what they started trying to do, where they got off and messed up the whole event, because it was legal for 40, 50 years. They started trying to make the state pay for it. That's where they messed up at. You want to know where they lost in the Supreme Court? They lost there because they tried to sanction state-funded abortions.
Well,
Had they left it to whether somebody want to go,
I got to push back. I got to push back on it because it's a law that government does not pay for abortions. Did you know that?
What do you think? When you give money to Planned Parenthood, who do you think who you think paying for that?
So you don't believe that even the health of a woman should be her choice? Is that what you're saying? So because I don't think no one believes that there's a right to kill a baby. I think there are circumstances that just has to be that men may not understand. So I don't believe in taking away a woman's right to over her own body.
It's not, but you've created another life. So there's a whole nother entity inside of you. And you know how you know that's true? Because if you get a girl right now, she's pregnant, and you kill, and a man stab her and kill her, and the baby dies, they're giving them 2 counts of murder. So either it's murder or it's not. That one thing when we talk about facing hard truths to where it causes us to be uncomfortable, sometimes we need to get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
What about?
Because you can't tell me that if a woman pregnant and she drink and smoke the whole time and she have a baby come out with issues, she going to jail. But if you don't play with it, just kill it. If you kill it, you free and you're a hero and you brave. But if you let it come into the world then and have fun. So that's my thing. If it's either it's a life or it's not. Now this is my thing. Because at the time I was doing a lot of congressional campaigns. And like I said, I work with Democrats and Republicans. For me, it's about tangibles. If you represent my values, I'm gonna stand with you to the end of the earth. But if you don't, then you will have a problem. But this is the thing. I'm telling you what flipped the switch to where, because they were literally saying, well, not 2 things. Infanticide was an issue. Because in Virginia, the governor has said that if a woman is full term, and you can go back and Google this, if she is full term, 9 months, while she's still in the delivery room, she decides you know what, come to think of it, I don't want a baby. They kill the baby even after she delivered it.
You know that.
I know this sounds like space aid.
That does
but
not
bro,
happen.
Google it.
That does not happen, though. You know that doesn't happen, right?
You're breaking up, bro. You're breaking up.
I'm sorry. You know that doesn't happen, right? Can you hear me?
Hello?
Can you hear me? Are you there?
I can hear you, but you sound muffled again.
Okay. I don't know. We got a little bit of just technical issues here. But
I want to touch on the racist Republican. And I want to say this.
Yeah.
And racist Republican, Democrat, Independent, they're racist in every party, right?
Yeah.
I don't really care about a cracker. You know why? Because I ain't never walked into a room and saw a white man that I felt that was smarter than me, ever. I'm talking about as the smallest kid, I've never walked in no scenario where I thought a white man was more superior or smarter or more valued than me, ever in life.
Right.
So if you're a racist Georgia's Palmetto State cracker, I don't got no love for you. You just as worse as a coon to me.
You know what I think you are? I don't think you're a Republican. I think you're independent.
No, I'm actually the original Republican. I promise you, I'm a Frederick Douglass Republican. It is literally.
Okay. I got you. Yeah, I see you. I see what you're saying. All right.
Yeah, because I'm be honest with you, and this side don't sound bad, but I've been accused of being a black superiorist, a black supremacist. I've heard that before, bro. I kid you not, bro, because like even when I joined the Tea Party, right? Joined the Tea Party, and all my black friends were like, boy, they gonna kill you over there. Boy, them white people ain't playing, boy, them crackers, boy, they gonna do that. I went in there and I challenged everything they believed in. And they said that they were for fiscal conservatism, right? I said, no, y'all not. Y'all into being mid-spirited and blaming everything on lunch program and all this stuff. Like I said, it's a segment. And it just happened to be the most ignorant ones they put in position to make those decisions. And that's in both of the parties, right? I said, this fun thing about it. I said, my good brother Tupac said in an interview one time, he said, if you have a bunch of rich people and they in a room and they got a bunch of homeless people on the street out there and they look through the window, they see them in there eating good, big boy real plates and everything. He said, and the ones outside starving might come and knock on the door and be like, hey, we saw y'all in here eating good. You think I can get a taste of something? You slam the door in his face, he don't go away. He might come again and knock again. Hey, sir, I'm sorry. I don't mean to disturb you. Y'all got anything left over that y'all can spare? Pac said, and he said, now when he come back, now he came to you nice and said, can you help me? Can you help me? Can you help me? And you turned him white. So when he come back, he ain't coming back knocking. He coming back kicking your door in with a ski mask on. And I'm paraphrasing, of course.
Right.
But that's what I let these lily white people that have never had a conversation with a black intellectual in their life. I literally told them, that's y'all problem. Y'all don't understand that if you don't, you can't say Christian. And let me kill another thing. These are not real Christians. There's no way you can say you love the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, and you for enslaving another person. You can't. That's witchcraft. You don't really believe in God. And if you do, it's not the God we serving. It's not that entity. It's not the creator.
That's
You're
why
serving something dark.
I agree with you on that.
Because
right there.
You can look at a little brown-eyed, curly-haired little black baby that got all the tenacity, all the charisma you ever thought you see in your life. And you can look at them and say, I'm going to make your life hard as hell. You know how hateful you got to be to get to that point in your life to when you see this little baby, because you know our babies walk in 9 months sometimes. And I ain't trying to be supremacist. I'm just keeping it a beat. Everything with our kids, they're way more advanced than every other. And this is just a fact. It's been studied all over the world. How are black kids so advanced at such an early age?
Right.
So for you to look at that and see all that potential and see all that charisma, all that intellect, all of that beautiful mind in a black child, and you want to suppress it, you are powered by Satan himself. You are not a Christian. You're not. It's something people hide behind. I will tell you this emphatically, and it's a fact. When one of the labels I got signed to, they said it was a Christian label by a white guy. Can I get a witness? And I'm talking about they didn't want me. I remember one time I was in there and I was cutting a verse, and this was a multi-million-dollar outfit, right? He was a mogul. And I remember, because I never was consider myself a gospel rapper. I was just a rapper that got the gospel in me, right? So I was doing a verse and I mentioned Tupac and Biggie in it, right? He knocked on the door and came and got my engineer and said, tell him I don't want him mentioning Tupac and Biggie. They sent a lot of people to hell. Now watch this. A few months later, as they were renovating the other part of the complex upstairs, my guy that was my head A&R that signed me goes up there one day because he knew had been upstairs, and he goes up there and guess what he's seeing there? A shrine to Satan, pentagram on the floor, and all. I'm talking about something like straight out of a movie. I ended my deal, bro. That's how serious it is to me. I ended it. I never went back ever.
Well, that's what's
never
up.
cut with him again.
That's what's up.
So everybody say, "Oh, I'm a Christian." Oh, no. The Bible said it. It said, "Man, the devils will transform themselves into an angel of light and make you think that they come to bring peace, and Absolutely. They come for nothing but destruction."
Absolutely.
So when you hear these white folks saying, "I'm evangelical and we don't want them," and that's talking that hate, but see, nothing we got to do to be fair. Everything ain't hate. Somebody saying take care of your kids, take care of responsibility is not racist. Understand, racist connotates that I have the power to suppress you. Somebody may be prejudiced and not be racist. Because if they cannot suppress you, they are not a racist, but they're prejudiced.
Right.
So a lot of times we get so much power to that word racist, it makes us stop. But if we really get down to it, look what the hell we done came in 400 years.
Right.
From the pit to the palace.
Exactly.
So what that tell you? We can't be stopped. There is nothing that can stop us. Even God said that about us. He looked down at Babel and saw them building a monument to the sky. He said, I got to go down there and scramble the language, because surely whatever they put their mind to do, they are going to do it.
All right. And we're going to.
So he saved us from ourselves.
Right. And we're going to got to put a pin in it right there, because we got at the end of the show. Hey, man, look, it's been an honor to kind of go back and forth. I love it, brother. We got to do this again. Absolutely.
Man, I need you to come with me next week, bro. I like the fact that we are coming from different sides. I think it only make us stronger, bro. And you know, I got mad love for you, bro. You are one of the dopest dudes. And what you doing, bro, people don't even understand, bro, how profound what you're doing in your heart and your passion for your community, bro. You're a giant, bro.
Bro, you're a giant, I appreciate them words. And as we grow, we're gonna grow together to change the community together. Hey, Beacon, this is you listening to Beacon, who has the podcast, the Free World Podcast, and Gatekeeper TV. That's right.
Yes, sir.
And you also, what's your platform? You also found on Facebook as well.
Facebook, look up Beacon Williams. You can look up Beacon 75 on IG, Vessel 231 on TikTok. My TikTok blowing up hundreds of thousands, but it's all good. But yeah, so yeah, bro. It's been an honor for me, bro. I promise, man. I literally, bro, I can't wait to see you again, man. I love metal sharpening metal, bro, and you. I love what you're doing, bro. I do.
I appreciate you, brother. And we will talk later. And you have a good night, bro.
All right, you too, brother.
All right, Beacon.
All right. Yes, sir.
Join the TSOU podcast community. Are you hosting a community event or looking to promote your business? Email us at tsou.nation@gmail.com to share your community events and business promotions on the show. That's the tsou.nation@gmail.com to share your community events and business promotions on the show.